Hello, friends, and welcome to Whose Fault Is It Anyways? A tentative title for something we may never do again, which is I had you guys send in games where you think your team lost you the game. Is that true or not? Let's find out. So, our first contestant here is Dawnbreaker, who so claims that they gave Slark a good lane and then somehow he lost it. So, whose fault was it? Was that Slark or was that Dawnbreaker? Top lane also had a bad skill build, and from there, the game just seemed to fall apart. So, were they wrong in their rotations, or did they do something else? Sniper seemed to snowball out, so, what happened? Well, let's first evaluate your claim that you gave Slark a good lane. You have this ward down nice and early, so that is going to lead to a first blood for Slark coming up here. He's going to chase the Dark Willow and manages to pick up a kill. So that's a pretty nice start. Shortly after, you actually manage to get him another kill on this Bristleback. Actually, you pick up this kill, looks like, but that's fine. Now here is where there's a bit of a mistake. So you killed that Bristleback about 2 seconds ago. Let's take a look at the lane. You have 5 creeps, including 2 range creeps, versus 2 melee creeps left. What's going to happen here? This lane is about to shove up here, and then it's going to be hard to fix because you have so many creeps pushing up. If the enemy knows what they're doing, they're going to hold it out here. Now, this is Guardian, so I don't know if they know what they're going to do, but in theory, that would be a problem because giving a Slark a good lane to me means that he's going to get 6 at a decent timing, preferably before the enemy, but as long as he has 6, that's a good benchmark, but also we want him to have some last hits. Now, those two things tend to coincide with having a decent equilibrium right here. You guys also have good kill potential, as you just saw, and so that's going to be a lot easier to do down here rather than up here. So it is critical to see this and identify, I need to do something about it, and if you were to run over here instantly, you might be able to get a pull off. It's going to be a little hard because I think you were like right here at 110, and if you bolt straight over, maybe you can get it. Dark Willow might stop you, but I think it's what you should try to do. Do a half pull, do a full pull, do whatever you can because the timing is going to be very tight on that. But instead, you kind of chase this Dark Willow around, and she wasn't going to stop Slark from farming anyways, right? It's 2v1 as far as she knows. She was already missing a little bit of health, so she wasn't really going to do anything. Her main focus needs to be stopping you from pulling, but make her do that. You go over here, do this pull, and see if she screws up herself and doesn't stop you. So here we are, 6 creeps pushing up here, 3 range creeps. These are all very valuable. If we take a look at the net worth, Slark is 1,400 gold ahead and Bristleback is at 1,000. That is mostly going to get equalized right here if Bristleback were to get every last hit here. And if they were to keep the lane out here for a little bit instead of just letting it walk under the tower, it could stay here for quite a while, making it difficult for Slark to really get anything. Like, he can be here for XP. It's going to be tough to get last hits. It's going to be tough to get kills while they're right by their tower. If you go to pull, it's 2v1. Then they can pressure him. We could have fixed this about 30 seconds ago. But here's another opportunity. If we stack this right now, you could do a pull here. That would temporarily fix it. I would say at this point, you might as well just stack this coming up here, and then you can kind of repeat. You can use this to fix equilibrium. You can get another kill, which shoves the lane, but it's okay. We can fix it with our stacked camp. You got a lot of choices there. But instead, you deward this, which I think is a little preemptive. You were probably feeling good about the lane so far, but it's only 2 minutes. I don't know if that's enough to say, like, oh, for sure we're going to use this hard camp more than they are now. I think you had plenty of opportunity to use the small camp instead and leave this blocked. You also choose to come to the rune right now, which, although could be generally good practice, I would caution against it this game for a couple reasons. One, the mid lane is Dragon Knight versus Tiny. This is not really a bottle lane, and you can see neither of them even have one. And they're not very rune-heavy heroes. Dragon Knight kind of does what Dragon Knight does, and Tiny kind of does what Tiny does. They're just going to trade water runes probably, and that's that. You stealing this water rune is going to help a little bit, but it's still just a Dragon Knight against a Tiny. It's not a super volatile matchup where these kind of things have a huge impact. Now, what are you trading for coming out here? Slark's on his own. We built a lead, but it's only like 1 level. It's not that strong yet. So it would be better to be down here helping him out. Instead, we can see Equilibrium is again shoving out. You're not down here to do this pull to help fix it. So Slark's having to do a lot on his own right here. And I watched the replay. He makes some questionable decisions, but he's having to make those choices because you're not here. Now, I do kind of like what you do here. You kind of bait it out, and if you got this tiny kill, it might have been worth it. He ended up picking up the water rune before you, and maybe if you'd gotten it, that could have been the kill. But by the time you get down here, Slark has died. So that kind of negates the advantage we built. Now, was it your fault that Slark died? Not fully. So Slark should have had to play cautiously here while you weren't here and you didn't give him a good equilibrium down here. Instead, he does come up, he does play a little aggressively on Bristleback, ultimately getting the kill first, but then gets killed by the Dark Willow right after. Now, if you were here, this kill attempt could have gone a lot smoother. We saw you guys kill that Bristleback at the very start, so kills were very much possible if equilibrium's here and if we take the fights in a smart manner. 2v1, maybe not the wisest choice from Slark, but that's his option and the risk you run when you leave the lane this early as a position 5 for a water rune that isn't as important in this kind of matchup. Now you do get a stack set up, and I think you were going to pull there, which I would have preferred, but it looked like a fight was going to break out, so I understand that you came up here, and then ultimately you decided to commit, and I believe this one led to a kill, right? Yeah, on the Bristleback. And you know what? Not too bad. But let's check out the last hits real quick. Because so much fighting is going on, he's not getting very many last hits. Now, this game, it's working out because ultimately you are getting the kills. But if you always play this like very fight-heavy style without worrying about the equilibrium as much, it can backfire. Because these are pretty close kills. Like, look at this. This guy almost died. And if they get the kills instead, you're going to see a very different image in these games. So although this particular game is working out, I do want to caution you that in the future, if you don't pay enough attention to equilibrium like we mentioned earlier, then these will backfire. But if you're always paying attention to equilibrium, whether these kills work out or not, you will generally come out maybe okay. Like even if you lose the fights, but your equilibrium is always here, like that's probably still okay. Now off of this particular fight, I would say you're good. Dark Willow is at about a little less than half. Slark, very low, needs time to heal up, get some last hits. You probably need to give him some of your 5 tangos coming up here. But you're chasing her under the tower. And let me ask you, for what? The idea of giving Slark a good lane is to secure him, last hits, and XP. I'd say it's secured. Bristleback's dead. Dark Willow can't stop it on her own. So, why do I need to do this? Especially, why do I need to do this at my own health and at risk of like dying here under the tower? And I'd say you really don't need to. What could you do instead? Look at this time. Why, I have a double stack to work with that I could pull, deny an entire creep wave from the enemy, guaranteeing our lead of a XP advantage off that kill, giving Slark time to get more last hits under the tower because I denied an entire creep wave over here before Bristleback respawns and gets back here. And you get yourself a bit more golden XP, give yourself some time to get all these tango regen, because she only has 2 and you have 5 between the 2 of your heroes, so you just need time. I don't know, instead you go for this, and it does work out. Again, like, this is very close, you die, but Slark gets the kill. So in this particular game, it's working, but very close. Dark Willow almost got 2 kills right here, and then your whole, everything you've worked up would really have swapped, because even though Bristleback's down here, you can see Dark Willow not doing so bad. And when you combine all the net worths, it's actually quite a close lane right now, even though you have the level advantage because you're like giving these kind of kills and not paying enough attention to the equilibrium. And instead, you could have just done this pull, which would have been very safe and furthered your lead that way. Now, while you're dead, I see you looking around the map, and this is good. You're even checking items a little bit. It looks like you're thinking about teleporting here, though, and I would strongly advise against that because Slark has, just about 130 health, and he is not level 6 yet, and he has no regen. So I would really recommend you TP down here and salve this guy. Like, buy a salve with your gold, give it to him. If you want to just tango, sure, but help this guy get to 6. And the reason I'm saying a salve instead is because, look, Bristleback's still level 3. He has a ring of health, but he doesn't have a Vanguard, anything like that. So if Slark, with his skill build, gets full health, you guys can now fight this Bristleback, get another kill, and then make use of this stacked camp, and then ward up or something, because this one's about to expire. Now, you do choose to walk bottom, so I am happy with that. That is the correct direction. But I would say it is worth teleporting here and healing up this Slark just to make sure you get to 6. And look, Now he's level 4, so we kind of missed a little bit of a window there, where if we had salved and rushed up, not that you could know what XP he was at, but like, we know he's, you know, approaching 4, so like the longer it takes, and this like 30-second walk down here does take time, we're missing a little bit of a window there. Now I see you give Slark a tango, and you briefly clicked him. I'm not sure if you checked or not. He's very close to 6, so right now we just want him to get 6. If you saw that, and you were trying to play around that, then that's fine. If you didn't know where he was, though, I'd be really cautious about what you did coming up here, which is that you start playing pretty aggressive. And we just want Slark to get 6. Now, you see, he does have it. I don't know if you know that or not, because debatably, this could have been a really sick timing where you make a play and it's like, oh, he's 6, they didn't expect it, we can fight. But if that was the play, why are you up here? Slark's over here. He's going to have to hit the Bristleback, so you have to come here. This particular matchup, Quill Spray goes through Shadow Dance, so you still have to be a little careful. He probably needs time to hit 6 and then heal up before you can play aggressive. And so this aggression attempt leads Slark to chase up here, which, surprise, surprise, that's why you guys are missing so many last hits, and that's why he's got half of what DK has, and DK is also not last hitting perfectly. We're going to keep in mind that this is Guardian, so I'm not too strict on last hits, but when you keep baiting these kind of aggressive plays up here, it is going to make it hard for Slark to get last hits and just smoothen things out. That's why the creep equilibrium we talked about so much is really important, because Bristleback is a melee hero. If he wants last hits and the lane's up here, he has to get it. Then you smoothly wrap around on the Bristleback. Slark doesn't have to chase too far away from last hits to start the fight. He's very happy with that. Every time you start fights up here and equilibrium's down here, Slark has to go all the way away from the last hits to join the fight, which is already not a great fight because it's so close to their tower. And then equilibrium stays up here because we don't do the pulls, and then how are we supposed to fight from there? Ultimately, you die here. I'm not going to worry about, you probably shouldn't have used your hammer this way. That was your escape. But like, I'm not going to be too harsh on all the different mistakes. But that death, again, checking back in on net worth, he's ahead of Bristleback. But when we combine the net worths, like, this is still a very even lane. And then you TP up here. And this is what I'm not so happy with. Up to this point, I'd say you didn't do too bad. And in fact, I'd say you'd made less mistakes than your teammates up to this point. Because Slark is 6, Bristleback, he was 4, now he's 5. He does have a net worth advantage, even though we said as a lane, as a whole, it's pretty even. Slark is ahead. So up to here, I would say you did pretty good considering like the rank. I'm not going to be too harsh on all the small mistakes, though hopefully point some out and you can help improve from there for yourself. But we then abandoned Slark. We didn't rotate away from him. We abandoned him by TPing up here, and he has no vision. He is 6, but this is not ideal. We could keep killing Bristleback. He doesn't have his Vanguard yet. We are a level up, and so you can still do things down here, and then that would give you an excuse to be down here to sentry up, place your observers, and then walk away. You now cannot teleport down here to help Slark if needed because you teleported up here, which in general could have been a sick play if you were to kill this guy right here, this sniper with the Sand King. But this is where your comment on the Sand King's build comes into play. He doesn't have stun. I would say Caustic Finale against a sniper Shadow Shaman, probably not the best build. That's definitely his own mistake. And then you compound the mistake by teleporting up here to a guy who can't help you get a kill. He's already used Sandstorm back here. There's a bunch of creeps and a catapult. He needs to farm this. And you start the fight and you start chasing. This is not the best. You do make a slight mechanical mistake here. You should wait for a Celestial Hammer to come back off, slow Shadow Shaman instead of using this first. It would make the kill a little smoother. You do get the kill. It costs you a bit of extra health. That's why I mentioned that small mechanical mistake. But did we need to do this? Because that was a lot harder. This guy doesn't have the right skill build. You already commented on it. But now you still came up here. So that's your own mistake off of that. What are your other options? There's the Slark play we talked about, coming down here, capitalizing on your advantage, warding up. You also have this mid laner, Dragon Knight. He's got his ult. This would be really nice. It can actually take objectives after you get a kill or just zone away the Tiny once you come here. He's got a normal enough build, not the Sand King with no stun. So between Slark and Dragon Knight, there's plenty for you to do, but you teleported as far away from Slark as possible to the guy who can't really do anything with you. Now, did Slark screw up while you were gone? Yes, kinda. He is 2v1, and he has no vision because you didn't ward for him. So that's the part you made difficult for him. But he is 6, and we said like that should make him pretty safe. But he just doesn't really capitalize on that. He's not really making use of the regen from just like come out, play aggressive, go heal, go out, jungle, come out. He's not making that proper rotation. Again, it's Guardian, so we don't expect him to play perfectly. But that is his mistake, so I'm not gonna, you know, it's not all on you for leaving here. Like, the timing you left is technically possible, just not in this specific game. And we can kind of see the way he plays. He kind of misuses his spells and switches targets a little bit. He could have gotten out of here alive, but he kind of messed up his skills and then dies for it. So that is his mistake, but your mistake was about 2 minutes earlier, the rotation out, and such that when Bristleback ends up diving and killing you, because now he has his Vanguard and he's very difficult to kill, and he's level 5 to 6, whereas earlier we were talking about he was still like 4 to 5 and didn't have the Vanguard. And take a look at that. The net worth, I'm pointing as if you can see it, but I'll move my mouse here as well. Bristleback is the same as Slark. So coming up on 10 minutes here, did we really give Slark a good lane? Up to 6.5 minutes, I'd say it was okay, but then you started to make some mistakes that compounded all your teammates' mistakes, and we're back to an even game, which ultimately snowballs out of control. And to cap it off, Slark comes up here going for a Dark Willow kill and just gets outplayed and killed again. That is definitely on him. It's not on you. But still, maybe if you had stayed down here, gotten him an extra kill or two, helped with the equilibrium a little bit, maybe he's strong enough to make this kind of play. And so your correct actions can make up for your teammates' wild plays like that. That's kind of the way I approach pubs. If I give my carries a good enough game, when they make questionable decisions, they're just ahead enough to get away with it. But Slark is not ahead enough to get away with that because of what you did. Up to 6.5 minutes, I'd say that's good for the rank. But then those mistakes in that next 2-minute window kind of threw away that lead. So that's where we're going to stop this one. Everyone made mistakes. I think you did make less mistakes than your teammates. Just those last couple minutes kind of leveled out the playing field, and then you guys lose from here. Next up, we have a Position 1 Shadow Fiend. This is an ancient game with a couple legends in here, and they said the laning stage did not go the best. They were playing from behind, but they felt like they made some good calls about avoiding certain fights and all that. I'm not going to go too far into that, though I will say you probably should buy a magic stick against Necrophos and possibly rushing a Morbid Mask. I'm not a carry player, specifically a carry SF player, so I don't know the exact itemization, but I do feel like you wouldn't have gotten kicked out of the lane so quickly if you had more regen. But anyways, let's skip past that. I do think the game went okay. I mean, you guys are like 10k behind at this point. But then the Wyvern would always curse 2 to 3 heroes that were affected by the fear of Requiem, and they would just, fights over from there. So, was Wyvern ult the reason we lost this game? Let's find out. Starting at this fight here at about 23 minutes, you're TPing in with your recently finished BKB. Have a very nice Requiem Coil dual combo, and then the Wyvern's curse. So you do pick up the Storm kill, but the Necro survives. Necro probably would have died as well, and the enemy does clean up this fight. Yeah, that was not the best Wyvern curse. That was definitely a fight-losing Wyvern's curse. But is it a game-losing Wyvern's curse? Let's find out, and I would say no. For sure, it made the game a lot harder. That was probably a fight that if you win, you recover and go from there. But that doesn't mean the game's over. And I would say, as you walk away here, my friend, this GGN, this is very bad as well. Now, I don't know if you're trying to bait the enemy team or what. I feel like, it's probably not that case. This is going to really hurt your team's morale. I mean, this still isn't over, I would say. Like, you still have barracks. You can still defend high ground. You still have your fortify, glyph, all of that. And you had one really nice combo there. There's no reason it can't possibly happen again. But the GG end and then running into the jungle, that is definitely going to mean, like, now they get this Rax for free. And I would say you can fight this Rax. Necroult, still down. Oh, sorry, hold on. You can't see it from here. Necroult is down. Lifestealer has his ult. Clockwork has his ult. Lich ult is down because they just got used over here. Storm is dead, and there's no quick way to get here. He has to TP here, 6 seconds, and then like run all the way here, zip. If he zips, he'll get here quicker, but he won't have any mana. You guys are all going to respawn. You'll have 4 of you in 2 seconds, and then Puck will respawn and possibly TP in. I know you guys are behind, but I do think you can stall this out and possibly fight. You might just lose, it's true. But just giving it to them for free, probably also a loss. And so I'd say you should be here, not be like too annoyed off that really poor fight here. But I think this is like you making a mistake after the Wyvern making the mistake. I think you guys could take this fight 5v4, like as this Puck comes up. Like, first off, if you're here, they're slower about this. The supports wouldn't feel so safe rushing up here if they see the SF close, because they know, like, okay, we got to be a little careful about this. So the barracks fall a little faster. That gives Puck time to respawn, and you guys are going to have at least Puck coil, like, as they retreat, and, like, that's possibly doable. Duel is up. Thankfully, Wyvern's Curse is still down, you know? So I think coming over here to, like, start jungling, and then just give them this free barracks and this free escape. I don't know. Yeah, I think we could have picked up a kill or two here. But instead, your team is, like, fighting without you. Like, you do a lot. You do, like, 250 damage. You have your BKB again. Requiem's almost up, but now Storm is here again. And now, like, now their ults are up. So I do think there was a window to fight on this high ground that you got tilted out of and chose to avoid. Or maybe you weren't tilted. Maybe you're just saying GGN and you just thought, like, we can't fight this. But then I would say, like, I think you can. Maybe they take it ultimately, but you are here to pressure them and possibly make them screw up and recover from there. Because if you do get a kill, they're so high level that they'll be dead for a while and you guys can go get Roshan or push out or something like that. And to Wyvern's benefit, you know, they do make some good plays too. They heal you, save you here, leading to the Lifestealer kill after that. You know? Well, you know, it's not totally blame Wyvern. Some decent plays. Although I did see some other bad curses, I'll admit. Now from that kill, you guys do snowball it to get some other kills. It's a bit of a drawn out fight, but you managed to find the Clockwork and Lich. I think you guys should bolt straight to Roshan right now. You've lost one set of barracks, but this is not the end of the game. Even though, like, the other mistakes we talked about, like, I think you guys can still win. You should go straight to Roshan while 3 of them are dead. I don't think Storm and Necro will fight on their own. You guys slow down a little bit, getting these last hits. Like, this is wasting precious time. Like, what is it, like, all that, you know? Just ignore all that. Just run straight to Roshan. You and Legion and Wyvern are, like, the main 3 that are needed. Wyvern to, like, heal someone to tank, probably herself, and you and Legion hit it. And then don't waste this time, because the, like, extra 10 seconds you spent there, you come do Roshan now, they're all up. Roshan's at half. The enemy's coming. Still try to do Roshan, even though we don't have the best vision. We have, like, 1 ward. Wyvern Curse could have been better. Could have been on the Lifestealer. That would have secured this, sure. But I'd also say this is a bit iffy, and we wouldn't have needed that curse if we just came here right away. You managed to pick up Roshan anyways, but your team does have to get out. This ended up being a little messy. Could have been smoother if you guys just went here right away without dilly-dallying in the mid lane. Like, what's the worst that happens if you guys ignore those creeps? They walk forward a little bit and die to the tower. Who cares? You guys get Roshan. Or odds are they push up to here and you farm them up here. That's fine. Oh no, they're going to see us go to Roshan through the creeps. Who cares? 3 of them are dead. It doesn't matter. You should just go here, and this would have been a lot cleaner, and you would have the Aegis. In the end, here's the final fight, though, that loses it, and that is that you guys choose to smoke. You guys have the Aegis. You just see all of them up top. You have no vision in your jungle, and you know they went through your jungle. This is a really dangerous place to go because they probably have vision up here and you don't. And why fight here when you could fight here? Like, this is also high ground, and you have armor and HP regen and a tower and, like, everything. You're close to your fountain. This is a far better spot where you're more likely to get a good Wyvern ult, things like that, good dual pickoffs, coils, all that. So I think I don't know what the communication in the game is. The idea to wrap around and surprise them this way works in some games, but, like, I don't know, 18k behind, like 37-13. I don't know. I'm in the base. They screwed up, you know, last time they stayed too long. Let's do that again up here. It doesn't even matter because in the end, they come and initiate on the Centaur. And You guys end up taking this fight outside the base rather than in this base. You guys are in a very weird position. And this is a better curse. This is pretty good on the right target and allows you to get an incredible Requiem, but you're not able to really like finish it up because you guys are, 20k behind. And I don't know, it would have been easier in the base. So I think this choice to fight out here was kind of what sealed the deal. I do think, like, you saw the combo potential. I think if you guys take it from, like, in your base, it's easier. It forces them to, like, play correctly. They might still win, I'll say it. They're 20k ahead. They're probably going to play safe, win the game. But it's also a pub at ancient level. People make mistakes all the time, such as that Winter's Curse down there. But we need to make them play it out correctly. And if we do that, then we give ourselves the chance to win games when they don't do it correctly. So to me, that Winter's Curse, that was bad. 100% a terrible curse. But it didn't 100% seal the game. I think the mistakes after that, both not defending this barracks sooner, and then not going to Roshan right away, and then not defending your base. I think those are also big fights and big decisions that led to the true ending of the game coming up here. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you to everyone who left a comment. Sorry I couldn't get to everyone's, but if you like this video series idea, and I do see this sentiment a lot where people kind of feel like their team's holding them back, I think it's fun to tackle that idea. So if you guys like it, keep leaving comments, leave the match IDs, let me know who you're playing. And I like this format of, like, give me an outline of what you think you did right and what your team did wrong. And that way we can compare against that, now knowing how you're thinking about the game. And we can just keep doing this, so hopefully we can get to more people, or you can come to the Wednesday streams where we do replay analyses, stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.